Does anyone know, you don't have to say now, you'll find out later on. Did you notice that Radharani is wearing a turban today? Did you notice that Krishna's got nice new silk ropes for tying cows? We'll describe that later on. From a few nuggets from a talk by Acharya Swami. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Gopijana Balaba Girivanadari Gopijana Balaba Girivanadari Jasodanandana Badrinarayan Jasodanandana Badrinarayan Jamuni Tira Bunatari Jamuna Tira Bunatari Jeraru Marava Kundavihari Gopijana Balaba Girivanadari Jasodanandana Bhajajanarandana Jamuna Tira Unatari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Go! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Ibo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Geraro Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Priya Acharya Siddha Dishisham, His Divine Grace. Abhay Charan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Kora Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Nam Chai Srila Das Thakur Ki. Prem Shri Goho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Gadadhara Shiva Sari Go Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Say Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Vrindavan Dham Ki. Mathura Dham Ki. Dwarka Dham Ki. Navadip Dham Ki. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki. Jamuna Maya Ki. Ganga Maya Ki. Tulsi Maharani Ki. Bhakti Dev Ki. Sambhir Bhakti Vinda Ki. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Say Siddhara Giridhari Ki. Shri Krishna Sankirtana Joga Ki. Go Premanande. All glories to the sum of devotees. All glories to the sum of devotees. All glories to the sum of devotees. All glories to Divine Lotus Sita Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. So we're going to start because today is a number of special events. And we'll begin. This is the disappearance day of Sri Dhananjaya Pandit. So this is from this excellent book, Glories of Vaisnava Samadhis by Mahanidhi Swami. Sri Dhananjaya Pandit. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat describes Dhananjaya Pandit as Vilakshana Mahanta, having all the characteristics of a great personality. He took part in Lord Gauranga's Navadvip Kirtan pastimes before moving to Vrindavan on Mahaprabhu's order, carrying only a kamandalu, water pot, but remaining absorbed in love of Shri Radha Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He traveled widely and preached. He established deities of Gaurnitai, Sri Gopinath, and Damodar. In Brajalila, he is Vasudama, one of Lord Balaram's 10 Gopals. His samadhi is in the 64th Samadhi area. Now, Sri Gadadhara Das Goswami. While traveling with Lord Nityananda, Gadadhara would sometimes become absorbed in Madhurya Prem and begin acting and speaking like a Braj Gopi, putting a clay pot of Ganga Jal on his head. As if he were a gopi, he would call out, "Who wants to buy milk? Who wants to buy yogurt?" Far out personalities. As one of Lord Nityananda's chief preachers in Bengal, Gadadhara Das delivered countless sinners, atheists, and yavanas. Once, while tasting Krishna Prem, he began to dance madly and chanting the holy names outside the Qazi's mansion. Truth to power. The irate Muslim magistrate stormed out of his house to chastise him for disturbing the peace. But, beholding the dazzling, attractive form of Gadadhara Das, the Qazi became stunned and dropped his anger. Gadadhara Pandit affectionately embraced the Qazi and said, "Gaur Nityananda have appeared to deliver everyone with divine love by distributing the sweet nectar of the holy name of Hari. Why don't you chant the sweet name of Hari?" Replied the Qazi, tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow I shall chant the name of Hari." Hearing the Qazi inadvertently chanting the holy name filled Gadadhara with happiness. He said, "Why tomorrow? You've already started today. And with this powerful holy name of Hari will destroy all of your sins and purify your existence." End quote. From that day on, the Qazi took shelter of Sri Gadadhara Das Goswami. Gadadhara Das Goswami's Samadhi is in the 64 Samadhi area. And then the Srinivasa Acharya, who of course is one of the original Sankirtan devotees sent by Jiva Goswami with Narottam Das and others to take the Goswami books to Bengal. So there's so much we could say, but we're just going to say a little bit. A taste. After witnessing Lord Gauranga's sannyas ceremony at Katwa, Chaitanya Das and his pregnant wife visited Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri. "Soon your wife will give birth to a son named Srinivasa," said Lord Chaitanya. "And through Srinivasa, all the Bhakti Shastra of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami will be delivered." When his father left this world, Srinivasa visited the remaining associates of Lord Gauranga at Katwa, Navrup, and Jagannath Puri. They blessed Srinivasa and gave him valuable instructions for spiritual advancement. Seeing his absorption in Gauranga Prema, they knew that, quote, he was an embodiment of Gaura Shakti, the energy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, end quote. He came to Vrindavan, toured the 12 forests, and took Diksha from Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Jiva Goswami taught him the complete philosophy of the Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Acknowledging his vast learning, Sri Jiva gave him the title Acharya. Accepting Sri Jiva's order, Srinivasa and his two friends, Shyamananda and Narottam Das. It's not that we're not without friends and relationships and devotional service. They were famous friends, Srinivasa and Narottam. Accepting Srila Jiva's order, Srinivasa and his two friends, Shyamananda and Narottam, together pioneered the first transcendental book distribution party. They took a bullock cart of the Goswami's devotional writings from Vrindavan and passed them out all over Bengal. It doesn't mention here, but there was a king there who stole the books because astrologer had told him that this party, these simple Vaishnavas, are actually carrying a cartload of invaluable jewels. So he's thinking boxes of diamonds, jewelry, stole them, and it was his books. But ultimately, Srinivasa and Narottam, they turned him into a devotee, the king. Srinivasa initiated many disciples, Ramchandra Kaviraj and others, wrote songs full of bhakti, Sad Goswami Ashtakam, and introduced a special kirtan style. When leading kirtan, he would sometimes lose his voice from chanting for so long. Besides his external activities of preaching and writing, Srinivasa Acharya practiced intense Raganuga Bhajana. Raganuga Bhajana is the spontaneous internal worship of Radha and Krishna based on the mood and sentiments of the eternal residents of Sri Vrindavan Dhan, such as the gopis. While doing Manasa Seva, service to Lord Krishna within one's mind in a mental conceived spiritual form, he would often bring tangible paraphernalia from those meditations back with him upon returning to the external world. Dishes of prasadam, garlands, all kinds of far-out things from his meditation. So they were real. Not as Giriraj Maharaj busted one so-called sannyasi, was locked up in his room. Prabhupada told Giriraj Maharaj that you need to come to the morning program. And everyone, your job as temple president is to set an example, come yourself, and have other people come. So there was one sannyasi who will remain nameless and is no longer with us, you'll understand why, who wasn't coming. So Giriraj humbly appealed, slipped some notes under the door, he wasn't coming. Finally, after some days, they opened the door, and he was there in his kopans, meow, meow, pretending that he was a peacock in, some kind of Vrindavan ras. They threw him out. Yes, after he would not reform. But this is real. This is far beyond our pay grade, lest any of our brahmacharis decide they're on this platform. Once Srinivasa sat Lord Gauranga on a golden throne within his mind. He then worshipped the Lord with a golden-handled chamra whisk and 5-flower garland. Pleased with his service, Gaurare offered the garland back to Srinivasa, who then immediately awoke and lost the meditation. A surprised Srinivasa found the sweetest flower garland he'd ever smelled hanging around his neck when he returned to external consciousness. Another time, Srinivasa was in his Siddha Sarup as Mani Manjari, watching Srimati Radharani, Krishna and the gopis in Holy Leela, spraying water, joyfully throwing colored powders and dyes on each other. The gopis told Mani Manjari to supply colors to Radhika and side with them in their war against Sham. The earth shook from their furious battle. Srinivasa's meditation abruptly broke. His body was completely covered from head to toe with fragrant, exotic, rainbow-colored powders imported from the spiritual world. Hari Leela Ki Jai. Srinivasa Acharya's Samadhi is in the Dhira Samira Samadhis area. So those are a few of the historical personalities. We come in such a line. We should be very transcendent. Sudam Swami was one that when Prabhupada would arrive at an airport, it was quite an amazing thing. Devotees lost all, restraints of social decorum, and you'd have devotees offering full dandavats, throwing rose petals and sprinklers full of rose water and just blazing kirtans. It was quite an interesting, blissful experience. So I could tell a few airport stories, but we don't have time. We'll do that later. But what I was going to say, this is Prabhupada had arrived in Los Angeles, and after a blissful reception, Sudam back in Prabhupada's room told Prabhupada, he said, Prabhupada, when I'm walking with you, I feel proud. And he said, now is this pride? We know that pride is not a good thing, and we're going to talk about pride in the class. So, what about this? Is it a bad thing? Prabhupada said, no. You can feel that by the grace of my spiritual master, I am no longer a fool and a rascal. So there is a certain transcendental, it's not arrogance, but it's a quiet confidence that I'm in the show. I'm following in the line of all these great personalities. Their mercy is flowing. I'm speaking their words. I'm serving their mission. Just like the viceroy represents the queen, or the ambassador is considered the representative of the American nation. So we should remember that when we're going out on book distribution or Harinam, or that we represent these great personalities. A, we should come to that standard, and B, we should have that confidence that is, this is serious business. So there's that. Now, I could not find anything out about what is Gopastami. So I'm going to send out a notice. But Gopastami, we do know. So Gopastami, this is when Krishna comes of age. He no longer herds the calves. But we'll just read it. So this is from the, where did I have it? Oh, this is the 10th canto, chapter 15, text 1. And it's quoting from the Padma Purana. Quote, the 8th lunar day of the bright fortnight of the month of Kartik is known by authorities as Gopastami. From that day, Lord Vasudeva served as a cowherd, whereas previously he tended the calves. Purport. The word padai indicates that Lord Krishna blessed the earth by walking on her surface with his lotus feet. The Lord wore no shoes or any other footgear, but walked barefoot in the forest, giving great anxiety to the girls of Vrindavan who feared that his soft lotus feet would be injured. And we should note that even Lord Ram in the forest, he wore shoes. He had shoes made of bark and leaves, but only Krishna. It's a special blessing to Vrindavan Dham that Krishna walks barefoot. And what do you see when Krishna is walking barefoot? All of the signs that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, Mother Yasoda was in big anxiety, and she said, you have to wear shoes. And he said, but all the cows aren't wearing shoes, and I have to set an example. I can't have a better condition, so you have to make shoes for all the cows. And do we remember the number of course, you hear unlimited cows, but so many, koti of cows, so a little hard to make all the footwear for them. So, it says in Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami, cows are worshipped not only by the demigods, but Krishna himself worshipped the cows on several occasions, especially on the days of Gopastami and Govardhan Puja. And Prabhupada describes that one can anoint or paint the horns of cows with turmeric and sundara on their foreheads and hand marks on their body. One should feed them fresh, sweet grasses and circumambulate them. We could actually do this with our cows. We should organize this. And this is from Bhakti Charu Maharaj's The Talk. I've forgotten the date, in Mayapur. Krishna bowed down to the cows, confirming how important the cow is to human society. He was also given something. Does anyone know what Nanda Maharaj gave him when he transferred from just taking care of the calves? He was a little boy. Now he's big time. He's taking care of the cows. What was he given by Nanda Maharaj in that mood? What do you give the man who has everything? He gave him a golden jewel-encrusted stick for herding the cows. Mother Yasoda was always in anxiety about Krishna. Now he's going out in the fields and forests. He's going out with the big cows out in the field. He's wandering far away from the village. She's completely anxiety. So, Mother Yasoda told Balaram, you have to walk in front. And she told Subal, you have to walk in back. And the other cowherd boys, you walk on the two sides. This way Krishna's surrounded by protection, so she felt a little more relief. So he said Krishna's given shoes, would not take the shoes until all the cows also had shoes. The dust, the ground in Vrindavan, walking is so pleasing that it's a pleasure to walk. It's very nice and soft, and the cows stomped on the ground to make the ground soft. So they made sure that where Krishna was walking. Wherever there's stones, the stones melted so that his walking would be very pleasing. So all of Vrindavan was cooperating to make sure there was no... And the girls and ladies were not invited. Now we're getting to Radharani's turban. So they weren't in it. I guess it was a men's only event. So, but Krishna's, it's a big deal, and Krishna's going to take the cows and getting honored. And so Srimati Radharani dressed like Subal, the other gopis also disguised as boys, and they all came to the festival. So that's Gopastami. Just a day in Vrindavan, just one more day in Vrindavan. And here we are hoping we get back to Walmart or, without catching COVID, it's pretty pathetic, isn't it? Okay. We need the clock, and we also need a little bit of water. You work all year long, and if you work for a decent company, maybe you get a 2-week paid vacation. Is it 2 weeks you get? Maybe. So thanks a lot, Prabhu. 54 weeks, you slave like a dog, and you maybe get 2 weeks off, and usually have a big fight with whoever your kids or your wife or, and it never really pans out to be what it's supposed to be. But, and actually our real life is to be eternally free. Every day is an adventure. You know how the cowherd boys keep time? They go out in the morning, Krishna kills a demon, time for lunch. Krishna kills another demon in the afternoon, time to go home. That's how that Prabhupada said how the cowherd boys keep time. So that's where we belong, Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo. Thanks a lot, Prabhu. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishna Sudamo Bhagate Damaganadi Bisaha Kalau Nasadasham Mesha Paranarko Nadodita Narayana Namaskritchananam Chaivam Narotama Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat. The Bhagavatam is brilliant as the sun, is arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied with knowledge, religion, etc. Persons who have lost their vision of the dense darkness of the age of Kali should get light out of this Purana. Before beginning our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, we should first offer respects to the personality of Gadadhara, to the Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, the goddess of learning, Mother Saraswati, the author, Srila Vyasadeva, and my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Vishirnam Swa Purim. What? Well, what's up with that? Oh, that makes sense. Sorry about that, Prabhus. We'll have to update. I thought the response was a bit anemic. Atmanam Kanaya Grashtam Panchalan Ari Dushitan Duranta Chintam Apano Na Lebe Tat Pratikriyam Atmanam Kanaya Grashtam Panchalanari Dushtitan Taranta Chintamapano Nalebe Tat Pratikriyam Atmanam Kanaya Grashtam Panchalanari Dushitan Taranta Chintamapano Nalebe Tat Pratikriyam Atmanam Kanaya Grashtam Panchalanari Dushitam Taranta Chintamapano Nalebe Tat Pratikriyam Atmanam Kanaya Grashtam Panchalanari Dushitan Taranta Chintamapano Nalebe Tat Pratikriyam Atmanam Kanaya Grashtam Panchalanari Dushitam Taranta Chintamapano Nalebe Tat Pratikriyam Atmanam Kanaya Grashtam Panchalanari Dushitan Taranta Chintamatmano Atmanam himself Kanyaya by Kala Kanya Grishtam being embraced Panchalan Panchala Aridushitan infected by the enemies Taranta insurmountable Shintam anxiety Apana having obtained Na not Lebe achieved Tat of that Pratikriyam counteraction. When King Puranjana saw that all of his family members, relatives, followers, servants, secretaries, and everyone else had turned against him, he certainly became very anxious. But he could not counteract the situation because he was thoroughly overwhelmed by Kala Kanya. Also, you say. When King Puranjana saw that all his family members, relatives, followers, servants, secretaries, and everyone else had turned against him, he certainly became very anxious. But he could not counteract the situation because he was thoroughly overwhelmed by Kala Kanya. When a person becomes weak from the attack of old age, the family members, servants, and secretaries do not care for him. He is then unable to counteract this. Thus he becomes more and more anxious and laments his frightful condition. Om Agyanatamarandasya Gyanagana Sulakaya Jakshushim Militangena Tazare Shri Gurave Namaha. So we don't have much time. Even worse than dying quickly is to be tortured. That's really the fearful thing, to be struck by lightning and you're gone without even knowing it. That's one thing. But to slowly be tortured is the most fearful. And we see, don't worry, there's a positive side. We'll get to it at the end. But old age, it's not just a quick coup de grace, but rather it's gradually, slowly, it all ebbs away. Because, or as Giriraj Maharaj said one time, sometimes when you're old, you feel like a tube of toothpaste. You know, all the toothpaste has been squeezed out. All the pran has been squeezed out. You know, one of the reasons this is a number of years ago, but started investing more, planting fragrant flowers here at the temple, because I used to pick flowers early in the morning from the neighbors' gardens. And I almost got caught a couple times because I realized I couldn't run fast enough. I was getting too old to make a quick escape. And actually, it's not a very good thing to do. We shouldn't, everything belongs to Krishna. Okay, fine, but we should take our quota, as the second verse of Ishopanishad says, what's allotted to us. So we started planting a lot of flowers here at the temple. So it's a fact. You see, old age, it's because just like, what is the underlying? Prabhupada says eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Now we know that mating is the strongest impulse. But what of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending is the most? Prabhupada uses another word sometimes for defining defending. He calls it something else. Fearing, yes. It's not because the fearing means defending against, pushing back all the problems of this world. It is a constant state. Just like this morning, Bhakta Alex and I were chanting japa here before Mangalarti. And, I don't know, he moved his chair or something. And two of these, when you drop these cushions, boom, they make up loud bangs. So he and I were both a little, oh, what is that, Because it could be anything. The Denver temple, somebody threw a quarter stick of dynamite. Some crazy white Aryan, this is many years ago, caught the deity room on fire. Luckily, they had insurance, and they were able to replace all the deity outfits. Swarvasa, it was great. In the ultimate issue, redid the whole deity kitchen, got all new outfits. But now people don't do that kind of thing. But it was crazy in those days. But a bang, it could be anything. We have the classic example. Ramapati Prabhu and I were out in Las Vegas. The boy his name was Sunny, and he was Sunil, so they called him Sunny for short. They said that was his temperament. Wherever he went, he brought sunshine. Made everybody happy. He was always in a happy mood. And just finishing his residency, just about to get married, bam, hit in a car accident. Just within a second. Everything was up, everything was down. Or my favorite example, because that one's a little personal and it's painful actually, but right here where the surf meets the turf, the Del Mar racetrack, there was an elderly couple, and they evidently well-to-do, or relative materially well-to-do, and they would go horse racing, and they would put aside, okay, we're going to gamble and lose $300, and we just accept that's the fun of the thing, that's the price of admission for the experience, and you bet, you're not going to make any. So they bet on this. The horse had the same name as their granddaughter. Blind in one eye. Next step is the glue factory, but had the same name. Odds are, 1,000 to 1. So they bet on it because they had the same name as their granddaughter. And the horse won. I mean, this one tripped. That one went the wrong way. One of them said, hey, enough of this. I'm not running. So by default, the horse won. And everyone was patting him on the back. They won it was $30,000 or something, I was patting him on the back for a $100 bet. Jeez Louise, And they were so excited. Prabhupada said, Rabindra Swarup told me this. One time Prabhupada said, Rabindra said, well, that's very exciting. Prabhupada said, devotees don't get excited. We get enlivened. Excited means, the agitation of passion. So they were very excited, and so much so that the old man had a heart attack. So he's going with his wife to cash in their ticket. They're on top of the world. Everyone's announcing their name and patting them on the back, and 30,000. Bam! And when he died, his hand opened, and the ticket was blowing away. And all kinds of people. So the wife, stay with the husband, go for the ticket, stay. It's one of those, where you can tell the natures. I don't know what happened. But what happened in the ultimate is the husband died and she lost the ticket. So for being on top of the world, So that is our actual position in this world. Now, old age puts a sharp point on it, but this world is a very fearful place. There's always some angst. Why do people slow down when they see a car accident? They call it, rubbernecking, or there's another name for it, but but that's what I was thinking of. But why? Because they're thinking subtly, there but by the grace of God go I. Wow, man, that could have been me. Look at that. Ah, jeez. So because I'm just looking at the time. We should understand that this will happen to all of us. Prabhupada used to said it a number of times. Don't think this won't happen to you. We all think that. Someone said, sooner or later, when I get old, this and that. Prabhupada said, better sooner. Do you know you have a later? So we should use our time wisely. It's an old analogy, but it's a useful one. If you have a box and sand and some rocks, now, a priori, the sand and the rocks fit in the box up to the top, exactly up to the top. They all fit. What do you put in the box first, the rock or the sand? Why? Why not sand? I'm a sand advocate. Put sand in first. What happens if you put the sand in first? There's no room for the rocks. If you put the rocks in, what happens? The sand will just fit around it. Similarly in our life, everything else will take care of itself. You'll get your breakfast, your kids will get married or not, whatever happens, it'll all take care of itself. But if you spend all your time taking care of the small potatoes, filling in the sand, and you don't do Ante Narayana Shmriti, the one thing that's sure to happen, like the man said to Prabhupada in the room, kept looking at his watch. It was in Detroit. I was sitting right there. Kept looking at his watch. He was fidgeting. Obviously, his wife had dragged him, it'll be pious. Hear the Swami. So she came. He came. But he didn't want to be, I don't know what, the ball game or cricket or who knows what the guy was thinking. Sometimes Gandhi wanted to leave to go he left his father's funeral early. And I won't even say why he left. So, the people are, all kinds of things are going on. So, Prabhupada noticed, didn't miss a trick. Prabhupada said, sir, what is your issue? He said, I don't want to be late. I have a very important date. I don't want to be late for it. Prabhupada's response, you have only one date and you will not be late. You will not miss it. Rather, we'd like to say to Yamaraj, Thursday, 4 o'clock, that doesn't work for me. How about never? Does never work for you? So we should be aware of that. Now, the whole point is Paranjana represents the living entity. Now, I'm going to say this quickly. We should follow the story arc. Paranjana was on top of the world, as they say. He had everything. He was a king and a beautiful wife. And sir, how does it end, my friend? That's a smart person. How does it end? There was a song. What is it? You'll know it and you'll know it. It was a Frank Sinatra song. And it said it was a very good life. And he goes through when I was a young man, it was, yeah, see, luckily enough, I don't remember all the words, but it was about the phases of life, and, and it was a very good life. It was like a fine wine and all this. Now, but now he's an old codger with no teeth and no digestive tract. So how does it end? That's intelligence. So how does it end with Puranjana? His next life, he takes birth as a woman. The point is that he took birth again. Started off as a woman or a dog or Brahma. You start all over again, and you go through the whole thing again. It's the perennial Groundhog Day. So you can make some rationale, it was a very good life, you can accept that. Or, what's the other side? We can get about my real business. It's all going to come, it's all going to go, let me get about at the Ante Narayana Smriti, at the time of death, will I remember Narayan? What do I have to look back on? Can't take any of it. We will all be there. What is the Sanskrit for the renunciation at the crematorium? Yeah, and it's true. People at anyone who's got half a brain at a funeral, they become a little bit reflective. They're a little bit. It doesn't last long, So I guess I'll just say this. What I wanted to say was that in this story arc, king, woman, queen, up, down, around and around, again and again and again. What is like a rat in the maze? We think that the point is that one of the benefits of old age is this pride in the body. It just becomes an embarrassment. Just so many things. Then it becomes a source of, what is the happiness, How much can you eat? Prabhupada said to Hamsadutta. Hamsadutta was a good cook. Prabhupada wasn't eating much. Prabhupada didn't eat that much, So Hamsadutta said, Prabhupada, I'm cooking you Bengali style, but you're not eating much. He was cooking Gujarati style. Prabhupada didn't eat much. Jayapataka Maharaj said the perfect is a Bengali breakfast, a Gujarati lunch, and an Italian snack. No, South Indian breakfast, a Bengali lunch, and an Italian snack in the evening. It's true, actually. So, so Hamsadutta was trying, Bengali, South Indian, Italian, Chinese, Mongolian. Prabhupada just ate the same amount. So he said, Prabhupada, I'm your cook. I'm here for you. You tell me what you want. Norwegian vegetarian. I'm here for you. Tell me what you want. Prabhupada said, I'm an old man. He said, all my life I have chased after this tongue and what it wanted. He said, now, whatever you bring me, I'm satisfied. So that's I wanted to get into the gifts of old age. The fact of the matter is, all of our life, old age has this benefit. Either you're bitter. At the time of death, after death, you have a ceremony. And according to your community, it's 3 days or 6 days or whatever. And the family gets together and you offer to Lord Vishnu all the favorite dishes of the departed person. Why? 2 reasons. A or B. If the person is still hovering around, which often happens, but they're not very evolved, to help them move on to their next life, to move on, because they're just hovering as a ghost. They still want to enjoy. My family was there, my wife, my big house, and now I'm on the glass, on the outside looking in. I can't do anything. And when they see all their favorite foods being offered and they can't taste them, and all their family members there, they just and they become disgusted and leave. So that's for an impious person or not so evolved, helps them move on. Pious person thinks, just see, all my family is there. I can't participate, but they've taken shelter of Krishna. They're going to be all right. They're going to make it. All right, I can move on. They're going to be all right. If they were staying out of a pious concern, well, they've taken shelter of Krishna, and I can't enjoy it anymore. Let me move on. So similarly, old age for one who's it's great. I like getting old, to tell you the truth. In all honesty, if I had to do it again, I would not want to be an Oprah moment here, 24 years. If I could be 24 years old and have the same whatever degree of Krishna consciousness I've got, if I could have that and be old, okay, that'd be a good deal. Because then I could serve Krishna nicely, you know. But if I had the two of being an energetic fool, no thanks. And also, you develop, this is an encouragement for the young men. Because it's difficult. You know, your senses are now blazing away, going 90, bang, 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 90 degrees, you know, this, that, so many, you know, like a, you know, you wind up those little monkeys, bang, 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 you know, your senses just, ah! But it gets easier. And especially when you get old. Rabindra Soup said, you think about sex? He said, frankly, it's like skateboards. You know, when you're 65 years old, you're not going to go skateboarding. You just, you know, that's for the kids. You know, if I do that, I'll kill myself. You know, let the kids play. It's not for me, you know. So you think, I'd rather read Bhagavatam, you know, or, you know, it gets easier. And you become detached from this body. And the pride, control and pride, we'll end here, but control and pride are the cornerstone symptoms of the conditioned soul's sense of independence. We have a sense of, we're controlling, I am the Lord of all I survey, and we have a sense that we're enjoying, and that we're proud of it. Oh, just see all I've accomplished and how beautiful, and I can do this. Kids, oh, watch me, you know. Oh, of course, parents usually, oh my God, what's the kid going to do this time? But, you know, show off. It's human instinct. Look what I've accomplished. And when you get old, it's all gone through your fingers. You can't sustain it anymore. What do you got to be proud about, you know? You're not independent. You got to depend on others. So it reduces that pride. It reduces, and you realize, hey, I'm at the end of the rope. It's coming to an end. So old age is a good thing, and one of the best things, all the struggle that you're going through now, it just dissipates. And you actually, on the positive side, years of devotional service, you have faith in Krishna. It's real. I'm just going to take shelter. It's all going to work out. So you have that, and you have a taste for the holy name. So old age is great, don't worry. If you're not a fool, and the choice is ours. We can be a fool like Paranjana, or you can be intelligent. And then for that, everything becomes blessed. Everything Krishna is all good, absolute. Everything, fear, terror, ghastly ras, when it comes in contact, lust, thieving, Krishna steals the gopis' clothes, he steals everybody's butter, and he steals everyone's heart, Rupa Goswami writes, Jiva Goswami writes. So the point is, everything in contact with Krishna becomes a blessing, because he's all good absolute. Similarly, old age becomes a blessing. Okay, we can end there. Thank you very much. All glories to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.